Hi guys, Rafael Marcolino here, and welcome to Sapiens every week with a new drum lesson for you. Today we're going to talk about how to build hand speed. I know it's a very common topic. Lots of drummers search a lot for that, and lots of drummers see that as the main goal of their drumming. And that's actually a problem. I think that there's a lot to talk about in this topic about how drummers sometimes get really frustrated because their main goal is to build up speed and they don't accomplish that so easily. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about strategies to build up your confidence and make that help you to build up hand speed in a proper way. And I'm going to show you 4 really good exercises to build up hand speed with responsibility. I think that's really important. There's a lot to talk about that. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to follow Sapiens on Instagram. We also have the Facebook page. And if you want to receive every week a PDF file containing transcriptions of all these exercises, everything I show here in the lesson, go to subscribe.drummosapiens.com. You will sign up to the mailing list and you're going to receive every week an email with the lesson link and a PDF file containing transcriptions of all the exercises of the lesson, okay? So now talking about building up hand speed, as I said, many drummers get frustrated because of that. I personally know drummers that quit on drumming because of their frustration, because they were not getting fast enough. But there are some really important details for us to look up in this topic. First of all, you have to understand that speed is a consequence of your movements, of the movement you're developing, of the consciousness of your hand movement, of the consciousness of what you are playing. And it's not only about the physical aspect of the movement, your muscle memory, as people say, or your hand and arm and finger movement. It's also about your mind, and about our minds in 2 different ways. Number 1, our brain is processing a lot of information while we're playing. We're not just thinking about alternating our hands as fast as we can. This thing that I just played, that means absolutely nothing if we don't know the tempo that I'm playing, the subdivision that I'm playing, if I'm not playing to something else, to a song or to something that other musician is playing. That doesn't mean anything. So if I'm just playing that without meaning anything with this, without thinking about anything else, maybe I can play that really fast. But when you start thinking about what subdivision is that, which hand is leading, how many beats I have inside my bar, which song I'm playing, when you start thinking about all those things together, your brain is processing a lot more information. So that makes you play slower, because you need some specific time in between those notes for your brain to process the next note and for you to play that right. So we have to think about that when we are thinking about building up speed. We need some exercises that work on that too. And there's also the psychological aspect of our mind that is about having the confidence to keep building up speed, because it can get really frustrating. Those details are very important. And of course, your movement is very important. If you're playing relaxed, if you are having a more efficient movement, it is a lot about technique, of course. I'm not getting deep into hand technique in this lesson, but there are tons of lessons and materials about that, and many different techniques, and lots of really fast and famous drummers talking about that. So you just need to put some time into trying those techniques, but trying that really slowly for long periods of time. If you have the patience to work really slowly at first and build up a very good movement, relaxed, with the right posture, paying attention to build up control, you will get a lot more speed, a lot easier when you want to. So let's go to the exercises, and I'm gonna show you how you're gonna create this strategy to work on all those details to build up hand speed without getting frustrated, okay? So in this first exercise, we're gonna play 16th notes, 4 notes with each hand. So it's 1 beat for each hand. We're gonna play 1, 2, 3, 4. And the goal here is to try to play every note in the same volume and understand if you are struggling with your weak hand, if you feel a difference between your hands, because that's really important for you to understand where is actually your limit. Sometimes our weak hand is pushing us back and we can't see it. We can't see the reason. And it's very important for you to understand in which tempo your hands start to feel different. You start to feel less comfortable with your weak hand. So that's a really good exercise to analyze that. And I'm gonna play it at 80 beats per minute for you to listen to it faster than I just showed you. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's really important for you to analyze if the dynamics are the same, if your weak hand plays in a lower volume or maybe in a higher volume because you are tightening it up, you're tensioning your left arm and playing harder, you know? You have to try to make your hands sound the same with this exercise. And it's very important for you to repeat this exercise for long periods of time at a tempo that you are actually really comfortable in playing with both hands. And from that, you start trying to play faster and faster and faster. But when you reach to a tempo that you start to feel that your weak hand is different than your dominant hand, you go a few steps back and you repeat that for really long periods of time. And then on the next day, you know that that was your limit on the day before, and you try to go a little bit further and a little bit further. And when I say a little bit further, it can be just one number higher. If your limit today was 80 beats per minute, you can try to go on 81 the next day, 82. That's already a difference. That's already playing faster. So you have to build up that confidence too, that you are getting faster. That really makes a lot of difference, okay? But in this first exercise, we're only playing 4 notes in a row with each hand. Now we're gonna make that period of playing with each hand get a little bit longer. So now for the second exercise, we're gonna play beat 1 with your right hand, beat 2 with your left hand, and beats 3 and 4 with the right hand. 3, 4. And then on the second bar, we're gonna do the same thing, but it's starting with our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now in the end of each bar, we're playing 2 beats in a row with each hand. So maybe in a certain tempo, you can play exercise number 1 really well, but you can't play 2 beats in a row with the same hand. So that pushes you a little bit harder and has this really cool symmetrical thing going on. We're gonna start the first bar with our right hand and start the second bar with our left hand. So that's also creates in your brain the feel that your weak hand is as important as your dominant hand. That's really helpful when we are trying to build up speed. So I'm gonna play it in 80 beats per minute again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And you have to pay attention to the same thing. If you feel the same way with both hands, if both hands sound the same, if you can play with the same volume. And now for the third exercise, we're gonna put some 30-second notes in the middle of it. Of course, alternating our hands. We're gonna now put the single stroke roll going inside this second exercise. We're gonna change that a little bit to fit some 30-second notes inside of it. So we're gonna play beat 1 with our right hand, beat 2 with our left hand, and on beat 3, we're gonna throw 30-second notes, starting with the right hand. 3, and on beat 4, we go back to playing with only one hand. 4. And on the second bar, the same thing, but starting with our left hand. So it's gonna be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And that's really cool because sometimes you can play 16th notes with your hands isolated, but when you try to put those notes in 30-second notes alternating your hands, you can't play that really precisely because your brain has to understand the relationship between your hands. So it's really interesting to use only the space of one beat in each bar to start pushing you to play those alternating notes in a faster tempo. That can really help you to start building up the feeling that you can play single strokes in a certain tempo that you never played before. Our brain cannot interpret what we are doing right and what we are doing wrong when we are learning something new. So if you are always trying and stopping, trying and not getting it, trying and not accomplishing it, your brain is absorbing that information that you are not a consistent drummer, that you are always trying and not accomplishing it, that you are always trying and getting slower, that you are always getting frustrated. You start absorbing that and you start impersonating that feeling. And that's really, really bad for you when you are in this path to build up something. So it's extremely important for us to create a system, to create a cycle that we are playing faster and faster, even if it's only one beat each bar, but the information is always right. We are always absorbing the right information. We are always making our brain understand that we can play that. So I'm gonna play now exercise 3 at 80 beats per minute for you to listen to it and watch it played a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. When we are playing single strokes using 30-second notes in 80 beats per minute, that's actually the same as playing 16th notes in 160 beats per minute. So I'm actually playing really fast here. So just for you to understand that if you think that 80 beats per minute for those exercises is not a really fast tempo, it actually is. Don't get distracted or don't get confused by the number itself. You have to understand how you are playing in that number, which subdivision you are playing. We are playing 16th notes with one hand here. That's really fast. Okay, so now to our fourth exercise. We're gonna play the whole bar with the same hand, but putting those single strokes, those 30-second notes on beats 2 and 4. So my first bar is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I start the second bar and do the same thing leading with my left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. I'm gonna play it in 80 beats per minute again. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I hope you understood what I meant with building up speed with responsibility. I really don't want you guys to get frustrated. I really don't believe that a good drummer is a drummer that play fast. I like some styles of music that have this virtuosity as part of it. And I work really hard to get more hand speed and more foot speed, but I really don't think that those are the most important things on drumming. I think that's really important to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I hope those exercises and those ideas are useful for you when you try to build up hand speed. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow Drummo Sapiens on Instagram. We also have the Facebook page. And if you want to receive every week PDF files with transcriptions of all those exercises, go to subscribe.drummosapiens.com. I see you next week.